So we're all back to answer more questions that have been submitted. I think we're going to start with, what is one area that you guys would not treat and why?
Nose.
Definitely nose. And in combination, probably glabella.
For sure.
Between the eyebrows.
With filler.
Right.
Yeah.
And we would agree probably for the same reason, right? The filler in that area is very easily complicated. Although I think a lot of fun and very gratifying, very much on social media right now. Pretty easy to do, right? Easy to fix issues, whether it's static lines that remain or a liquid nose job. Unfortunately, at least in my experience and why I stopped doing it, was there's zero chance of protecting yourself against a complication. And the complications are really bad when you do get them, unless you know how to treat them, which is where an experienced injector comes into play. And even using a cannula, even using the right filler, even using a small amount of filler, we now know vessels can actually just shrink on themselves, and that causes vascular spasm, which cuts the blood supply off to the skin, which for us is called necrosis. If you look it up, it's a very bad thing. You lose blood flow, it becomes black. In bad cases, thank goodness, never to any of us or myself have we ever had that situation happen. But if you ever had this area injected or this area, that kind of stuff can happen, and it can travel all the way up your forehead. And then also, worse than that, there's a lot of cases of blindness, because vessels in this area also supply the vessel of the retina. And that's kind of a worldwide increase right now, unfortunately. So,
and anytime you do filler, there's always going to be that risk of filler getting into a vessel that we don't want it. And there are some areas that are presumed safe or safer, and then there are some areas that are very high risk, and that would be the nose and the glabella area. And that's just due to the vasculature within that area, which makes it so high risk that the benefit of doing filler does not outweigh that risk. It's just way too risky of a procedure. I know some plastic surgeons that will say that a lot of their nose jobs are due to complications from filler in the nose. And so it's not worth it for a little gain or a hump improvement. In those cases, I would just refer out to surgery. I think you're going to be happier with the result, with obviously a lot less risk involved, and scary risk too, with blindness being kind of the end possibility.
And the nose is such a small compartment, and it has end circulation there. There's no collateral blood flow, meaning there aren't extra vessels that supply the nose. So if you lose blood flow there, it's done.
exactly.
Just not worth it.
Not worth it.
We won't do it.
I mean, at least for us. No shame to the actually very experienced injectors that we do see online that do it. And there's people talking about, well, I do it under ultrasound and I do it this way, and I guess that gives them an added feeling of safety. And I assume because these people are respected and know who they are, I do know who they are, they would know how to take care of a complication pretty quickly. It's just not worth it for us. We're here to make people feel better, look better, and do no harm is sort of a medical creed. So, we don't need to enter that if there's another option for them, which we know is more long-term and safer.
And not, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt.
seriously.
I thought you were done.
Like, again, I was just going to say, if one of the people I respect the most, our medical director, absolutely won't do it, which is Dr. Steve Yolen. And also a couple of injectors that have been injecting much longer than I have, all won't touch it. I just take that as a huge sign that, obviously people have seen things and done things for many years that have worked. And then they just really realize that, bad things happen to really great people.
And don't forget, when you're watching a video on social media, if somebody's doing it, it could be one of two things. Either they just don't know how risky that area is and they're kind of just going rogue, or they really know and they're very cautious and careful and have all the tools and resources they need to navigate through that injection and or complications that might result from that injection. Another thing I just wanted to point out regarding the glabella, most of the time, that's a Botox fix anyway. A lot of people are concerned about the line that happens as a result of frowning, which for some people can be very deep. But if you're very, very good and consistent with Botox, 90%, maybe more than 90% of the time, we can get that line to look a lot softer, and not immediately, but potentially after several sessions of consistent Botox, you might notice that it's negligible. You don't notice it anymore. And so usually filler wouldn't be the solution anyways for that area, just in referencing that. But the nose, still, I would still stay away from filler.
We actually have a couple of patients, and I think at least 2 of them are Susie's patients, where it was consecutive Botox sessions for at least, I think, 3 times over a year or so, and it shows the static lines that somebody came in with, meaning lines at rest, that disappeared over a year's time, and that's just continuous, dedicated repeat treatments with, of course, proper dosing each time.
Yeah.
So you can do it the right way, and it still works.